If you have had someone die recently, this probably isn't the best video to watch until you're ready. This is going to sound somewhat callous, but it is a message that's very important to God that it gets out. So God has been writing all of our stories since the beginning of time, since way before the beginning of time. And when he writes a story, has to include a birth date and a death date. And that's just the way it is. In different time periods, he had different lengths of time. And then he has a highly regimented reward system. So if you lose your life early, you get blessings for that. If you live a long life, that can be a blessing, and then you get blessed for the things you did during that life. He has just an infinite array of ways that he builds in to make everything fair and just. Not equal, but fair and just. So, to him, it really doesn't matter how many days you live upon the earth. He has a specific purpose for your life. What's most important to him is that he gets your soul or your loved one's soul into a human body. Once that is accomplished, he can place you where you need to be in the kingdom. This is a problem with abortion. So if someone is murdered before they are born, they are not considered humanly born. So the simple fact is, God has had to write in a huge amount of death dates coming up. And on some level, it's not that he's flippant about it. It's that if you understand where he's coming from, you'll be able to make more sense of it. First of all, the earth is coming to a complete and absolute end within 6-ish years. So a lot of us are going to have to lose loved ones. We have COVID, and who knows what else he has coming. We have massive droughts and famines and fires, lawlessness, wickedness just running rampant and running around and murdering people. We're going to have terrorist attacks. It is just a basic fact that during these end times, he had to write a lot of early death dates. The human mind is used to seeing death as an absolute tragedy. And death is not easy for even God to handle. Although, if I'm honest, there are some people I am glad no longer roam the earth. But there are other people who I miss as much as their family misses. Because, as some of you don't know, all of the human beings who have ever lived and then died are now asleep. And it's very much literally like falling asleep. They were alive, and then they had a moment with their Maker, me, and if their shepherd was Jesus, him. And now they're asleep. They will be woken at the second coming of my Son, Jesus Christ. And right now, I have to write a lot of death dates that seem unfair. COVID, I get so frustrated with him every time I see a story about someone who didn't get the jab, who died. And then their family says, oh, they regretted it, or we regret it. And I think, why can't he just make things easy? And then I remember that he doesn't care about death dates. Our death date is irrelevant to him. So if it was written that you die of coronavirus in 2021, that's simply you were one of the people that have to die from this end times plague. You were a part of my story, and you will be rewarded deeply if it was written that your life is taken by a plague. So I'm going to make some videos about how we can come to terms with death, because it's like our psychology doesn't want to, but once you kind of click into the understanding that death is irrelevant, it really, really, really frees you up to live. And the Lord is having me make this video because the sooner you can come to terms with what has to absolutely happen upon the earth, then you can kind of enter into the future as like someone wearing a suit of armor. Because even I sometimes think, what if he takes my son? What if my son's death date is next month? And then I remember that I know there's only 6 years left, and I know the future is eternal. Like, we'll never lose the people we love. Ever. We can't. We're just away from them for a short time. And so I thought, well, if my son were to pass, say, from COVID, and I know that that is a form of martyrdom. Dying in an end times storyline is a form of martyrdom. Like it's a special gift. And it's also a gift to remain on the earth. But if you remain on the earth, you have to do the suffering, and it will increase your righteousness. But when people pass, when I imagined the Holocaust, I always imagined how blessed people that went at the very beginning were. Like maybe even when it first started. Because the storylines of their deaths were horrific. People coming for them in the night, knocking on their doors. But to have gone at the beginning, instead of living through it all and then going near the end, or living through it all and then dealing with the emotional damage. Dang, he made this life hard. He made it really, really hard. And it is going to be harder than it has ever been before. But he wants you to know that you can train yourself. You can put yourself in the mindset. You can get yourself into the consciousness that this is simply a glorious time and the end is near and we are almost free from this burden of suffering and releasing the earth of wickedness. Anyway, stay tuned for more words on how to deal with perceiving death, but also just know that not only human death dates are going to be picking up drastically, animal death dates will as well. He's telling me right now that the less humans and animals on Earth, the more people will be able to survive, not comfortably, but at least slightly comfortably during the famine. So, personally, if I wasn't experiencing all this, And I heard myself, I would be praying to go as quickly as possible. And then every day is a blessing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, God bless you all. We are going to get through this. He is going to guide us in ways that can almost totally protect you from what has to occur. Yes, I said there will be ways to almost totally protect yourself from what is to come. Keep watching. Amen.